Cowboys suck.
You weren't saying that before the game.
0-1, boy.
Yeah, I'm 1-0 though. Welcome to episode 169 of the Hurricane Mike Show, where we will be predicting all the week 4 matchups. But Atlanta still lost to the Jets last week. Because why then?
I mean, losing to the Jets, that says it all. I mean, you must really suck to be losing to some Jets.
To Tyrod Taylor in 2025. That's crazy.
He's still in the league?
I guess he still exists something. But anyways. Alright, now let's, last week, Dad, you finished with the record of 9-7, bringing your total to 115, 77, and 1.
I'm like the Steelers, boy. 9-7 every year. Woo.
Yep. And last week I finished with a record of 10-6, which brings my total up to 105 and 80 and 88 and 1. And obviously I'm 1-0 and you're on 1, as we mentioned in the intro, because you picked the Cowboys 24-23, and I picked the Lions 27-20, and your boy was 100% on the money. But anyways, let's get started on the Sunday slate. We're going to start off bright and early at the 12 o'clock slate with the Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Dad, who do you think is going to win this one?
Well, the Falcons are not going to win this one. I think Seattle's going to... The only way Seattle will lose is if they're looking past the Falcons, which is pretty easy to do these days. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be locked in. I mean, it's playoff time. I mean, it's going to be playoff time in a couple weeks. It is almost here. So, I mean, you got to start locking in. I think the Seattle's locked in, and they're going to beat the Falcons 39-24.
All right, this actually might surprise a lot of people. I actually got Atlanta pulling off the upset. And here's why. I'm going to give you a reason. Atlanta does this every year, where they win a game against a good team later in the season, and then that gives all their fans all the hope. And then it comes crashing down next week. Like, Atlanta, they are a trash team, but they are so confusing. Like, this is the same team that beat the Buffalo Bills a couple months ago. That was their last win before they beat, the Saints and whatever. But I think Atlanta, they're going to shock you. But yeah, I think Atlanta, they're going to win. I think Seattle, I think they've been looking a little suspect I know they just shut out the Vikings, but, it's Max Prosper, so what did you expect? But, yeah, I actually got Atlanta winning 25-21. And honestly, if Atlanta wins, that might actually be better for the Saints. Because then we get to hear from Atlanta fans, how good Atlanta is, and just for them to crash down. I mean, like, Atlanta, they are so delusional. Like, Atlanta, they win one game, they think they're all that, but whatever. But anyways, next game, I keep forgetting to do this. I got to announce the bye week teams. The New England Patriots, New York Giants, San Francisco 49ers, and Carolina Panthers do not have games. Anyways, let's move on. We got a game that everybody, and I mean everybody, in the world, even if they don't like football, they're going to be glued to their television. I'm surprised this game ain't prime time, because this game has a lot of playoff implications. The Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns.
I can't wait for this one, boy. I can't wait for the Shedeur Sanders show to reach the airwaves. I'll be watching the Saints, though, so I won't be able to see this particular game, unfortunately. Yeah, so I think I've been very hard on my boy Shedeur lately. So I'm going to say something nice about him this week. I think they're going to win the game against the Tennessee Titans. I do. I mean, their defense has been carrying them for times this year. I mean, Myles Garrett is having a historically great season. I don't know if anybody knows that, but he might smash the sack record. He might
Yeah.
he might smash in this game. I mean, he might sack what's his name?
Cam Ward.
Who?
Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, that's right. He might sack Ward 8 times in this game. No, maybe not, but give me the Browns 22-19.
Yeah, look. This game came between, for me, who was more trash. Like, these two teams are trash, don't get me wrong, but I think everybody could probably agree that the Titans are more trash than the Cleveland Browns. Because, like, I mean, the Browns, like, the one thing that they did when Shedeur Sanders started a couple weeks ago was beat the Raiders, but the Raiders had beat the Titans by 10 points whenever they played. So if they can do that to the Raiders, I don't see no reason why they can't do that to the Titans. Give me the Browns to win this one 16-15. Like, would you call the Titans, is there even an underdog in this game? Like, I don't think I have a dog. I've never thought that I've had, I feel emotion when I'm watching football. If I'm a Browns or a Titans fan, this game should be considered a war crime.
They actually have Cleveland as a 4.5-point favorite in this game.
That shows you how bad the Titans are. Imagine having the Browns as half a decade worth of points being favored. Like, that's probably the most they've been favored all. That's probably the first time they've been favored all season. But yeah, if you got Browns, I got Browns. We can move on. I got Browns 16-15. I don't know if I announced the score, but I got Browns 16-15. Next, we got the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is a real game with playoff implications on the line. I'm not joking. This is a real playoff implication game. Bears are sitting at 9-3. They're pretty, man. They just came off of a Black Friday W against the Eagles where they ran for over 200 yards. But the Green Bay Packers, they're no joke either. They're no joke. The Bears aren't a joke, at least not this season. Packers are 8-3-1, and they are sitting in the playoffs right now. They are coming off of a Thanksgiving Day win against the Detroit Lions. Both of these teams played basically on the holiday. Bears got Black Friday, Packers got Thanksgiving. Packers have actually played on 3 Thanksgivings in a row, fun fact, funny enough. But anyways, Bears, they're trying to win that division for the first time since 2018. And winning this game could help them do that. But the Packers, they try to make the playoffs still. And they can still win their division too. So, this is going to be a tough prediction, Dad. But who do you think is going to win? Bears or Packers in Lambeau?
Like you're saying, the division crown is up in the air in this one. I mean, there's a lot of must-win games this weekend I'm looking at. And even though still got, a month left for the season and things can go either way, I think this is a must-win game if you're talking about winning this division. I mean, it goes a lot to show who will win this division. And that can go from being a number 1 seed in the NFC or your wild card team. And that's very important. You have to win this game. And having said that, I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Packers. I think they're gonna be a little bit better because of their home crowd. They're gonna be a more physical football team. And give me a hard-fought game, 20-17.
Yeah, I got the Packers in this one too because it's at Lambeau. The Bears, this is the situation where the Bears are both of these teams have momentum, but I think the Packers are heating at the right time. Now, don't get me wrong, the Bears are too, but the Packers, I think, they dominated the Lions. Like the Bears, they dominated in the ground, but Green Bay dominated through the air. And I'm sorry, if you want to win games, you got to dominate through the air more than you dominate through the ground. Like you want to dominate both, but if you want to win games, this is an air first league at this point. So I'm going the Packers to win defensive 15-14, but I got the Packers pulling it out. And I mean the division, this game might determine the division at this point. So it's probably gonna be one of these two teams winning the division. Like the Lions aren't really out of it, but they got walls to climb at this point, for the Lions. Like they had a cool win last night, but they got walls to climb. Next, we got one of the daily trash games. Now, if this game happened last year, it might have been a pretty great game. It might have been a playoff implication type of game. But not this year. We got the Washington Commanders at the Minnesota Vikings. A week ago, the Commanders nearly pulled off the upset on Sunday night against Denver. They nearly did it. Just a couple yards away. Just can't sneak it in there. You know? But the Vikings, all they experienced last week was pain and failure. So what is your prediction for Commanders Vikings?
I predict a lot more pain and failure. I think Washington played a decent game last week, so I think they'll ride that momentum a little bit into Minnesota and beat the Vikings. And I think the score will be 23-13.
All right. I actually got the Vikings pulling this one out because they just got shut out by Seattle, and you know that's a bad taste in their mouth. They're not gonna they should be practicing 10 times harder. And the Commanders, they're probably reeling in defeat because they were so close to taking down Denver. I don't know if Jane Daniels is playing on Sunday. If I was Washington, I would just shut them down for the rest of the season. There's no point. There's no point in bringing them back. I would just shut them down for the rest of the season. But yeah, I got the Vikings winning 32-16. I think it's gonna be a blowout because Marcus Mariota, he's some trash. Like Denver, they're confusing 11-2 team. Like what? How do you almost lose to Marcus Mariota? But I got the Vikings winning. You know, JJ McCarthy should be back. It's not like it really matters long term. JJ McCarthy sucks, but we'll see how that goes. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Good God, what did we do to the earth to deserve these dang games? Bruh. Well, I know they're a divisional. This is division, but come on, can y'all switch division? But anyways, Dolphins Jets. Last week, the Dolphins nearly blew it to the Saints, but they pulled out late. While the Jets, they beat the Falcons on a walk-off 56-yard field goal. So what is your prediction for Dolphins Jets? Both of these teams coming off of a win by a few points. What you got for this one?
I got the Dolphins because I think they're a better team. I think, the Jets, yeah, they got to win, but the freaking Falcons, man, we already know that story. I mean, so give me the Dolphins, 25-20 victory.
25-20. Yep, and before I give my prediction, I'm just going to hit y'all with this. Hold on 1 second. Where's it at? There we go.
Breaking news.
Yep. Breaking news coming out of the college football landscape. As Penn State, they have officially hired their new head coach. And they are hiring the coach from Iowa State, Matt Campbell. So, Penn State, after 50 long days, have finally got their head coach after firing James Franklin. Dad, I'm asking, do you know anything about Matt Campbell?
He coached at Iowa State, right?
Yep.
He was the head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Just moving on to Penn. Well, I mean, Penn State's a better job. But I do not know the coach personally. I know Iowa State's been a competitive team, been a thorn in some team sides, but I don't know how good of a coach this is. I guess we'll find out, now he's on a bigger stage in the Big Ten.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. I think, Penn State, they had to hire somebody. A lot of people turned them down. I think,
I thought you were going to say Brian Kelly.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say Brian Kelly.
Nah.
New hire.
Nah. I know it was rumors, but Brian Kelly, look, nobody, and I'm not just saying this because I want to root for his downfall or because I think he just wasn't a good coach. I personally think he's not even a good human. Okay, and because there was a story that was literally I don't know if it was live, but Matt LaFleur and Robert Saleh both told a story when they worked with Brian Kelly years ago, that he invited those two to the school to like a party at his house just to work it. Like, and he was treated like this. Like they were treated like so. And Brian Kelly abandoned his player at LSU, Greg Brooks. Like I don't think. Look, nobody should ever hire Brian Kelly because as a head coach or even an assistant, because this dude is not a good person. He's not a good guy. Like I respect him as a neutral level, but he is not a guy that he should be leading anyone ever. So I'm glad Penn State hired someone different. I'm glad LSU got Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin might not be the best person in the world, but he sure is better than Brian Kelly. You can have your opinions about him, say whatever you want to say about the Ole Miss situation, which we'll talk about in a little bit because I don't think we really talked about it on here. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You can have your opinion on that, but he is nowhere near to the person Brian Kelly was. Anyways, let's move on. Dolphins Jets for me. I got Dolphins winning this one 29-17. Dolphins are just riding high on a lot of momentum. They're on, I think, like a 3 or 4 game winning streak right now. And the Jets, they beat Atlanta last week, but they're still the Jets. Dolphins are a way better team. Give me Miami to win this one 29-17. Next, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Saints last week fell short of a 16-0 comeback attempt to the Dolphins. And the Buccaneers, they are coming off of a sluggish victory over the Cardinals, but a win is a win. So what is your prediction for Saints-Buccaneers?
Saints-Buccaneers, the game of the weekend. No, not really. I'm going with the Bucs here, just because I want to, get a good win-loss record against you. So I'm going to go with the Bucs. They're going to win the game. It's going to be 26-19.
Yeah, I'm going Bucs too. I just don't see a world where the Saints pull this one out. The Buccaneers are getting healthy. The Saints suck. So I got and these two teams already played this season where the Buccaneers dominated. So yeah, I got Tampa Bay winning 20-16.
They're breaking out the brooms, huh?
Yep, unfortunately. But it's okay. Better days are ahead. Better days are ahead. Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts a week ago fell short to the Texans while the Jaguars are riding high off of a victory. Fun fact, though, the Colts have never beaten the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. That is 11 years since the last time the Colts beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. So, is the streak going to extend, or is the streak going to end here?
I've been high on the Colts all year long, but I think they're starting to come back to earth a little bit. Daniel Jones start coming back to earth a little bit. So I do think I like the Jacksonville Jaguars in this spot. They are on the uptick while the Colts may be a little bit down. I mean, I'm not giving up on them. Not giving up on you, Danny Dimes. But this particular game, I think, is going to be the Jaguars' day. They're going to win the game 30-27.
30-27. Yeah, man, this is a game. Both teams have the same record. Jacksonville is currently leading the AFC South, so we'll have to see who comes out on top. I got Jaguars winning this one 16-14. I think both defenses are going to come to play. I think, Jaguars are building off a lot of momentum right now. The Colts are slowly crashing down right now. Daniel Jones is playing hurt right now. He's not 100%. And I think going up against that defensive line with Travon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, I'm pretty sure there's someone else in there. I got Jaguars winning this one. Next one, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. Another game where the winner of this game will be number one in the division for at least another week. So, yeah, well, I guess it would be at least for 2 weeks because, they would have a tiebreaker over them. So, yeah, Steelers last week, they lost bad to the Buffalo Bills, and the Ravens last week lost bad to the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams are coming off of depressing losses. Who's going to be less depressed this week, Dad?
I think this is another one of those must-win games, and I think I'm going with the Ravens because I think they're the healthier team. Aaron Rodgers, he's got this, that wrong with him, that wrong with him. So I think he's not very healthy at this time of the year. 40-year-old dude breaking down. I mean, what you expect? So I'm going with the Ravens, 32-23.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens too, 24-19. Look, the Ravens, they are a better team than the Steelers. Okay, I think that's what it comes down to. I think this is the first time both of these teams are playing. Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson hasn't been good at all this season. So I think, this is going to be an AFC North game. Both teams are fighting for that division. And I think Baltimore is going to come out on top. Plus, they have the home crowd with their side. Now, at the 305 games, there's only one 305 game, but we got the Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Second time these two teams playing. Last time they played was that punt bowl on Thursday night, which gave us all a lot of time to sleep. Thank you all, I guess. But last week the Broncos escaped by the skin of their teeth against a Marcus Mariota-led Commanders team, while the Raiders are the Raiders. So, what is your prediction for Broncos Raiders?
Like you mentioned earlier, the Broncos have been having a very confusing year this year. I mean, they're 10-2, first in the AFC, but 1-point win over the Commanders, a 3-point win over the Chiefs, a 3-point win over the Raiders, a 3-point win over the Texans. They blew out the Cowboys. Who don't do that? I mean, a 1-point win over the Giants. I mean, they've been getting by the skin of their teeth all year long. So, but they're playing the Raiders. So I think, you know what? I'm gonna say they're gonna have the game together. I think they're going to win by more than 3 points this time. I think they're going to win by 10 points. Woo! Give me 23-13.
All right, I got Broncos in a close one because that's who the Broncos are. The Broncos are basically the Chiefs from last year, where they're winning these games, but it doesn't feel like you're winning. I got the Broncos winning this one 32-27. It's a divisional game, even though the Raiders are already eliminated. The Broncos or the Raiders, they're still going to want to beat the guys in Denver.
True.
And this game is at home. We'll see if anybody even shows up. But I got Broncos winning. It's going to be close, 32-27. Now for the 325 games, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. Actually, I think this game's at 12 o'clock. I think they have this wrong. I don't know. But we got Bengals at the Bills. Last week, the Bengals on Thanksgiving night beat up on the Baltimore Ravens. That defense might have figured out something. I guess, maybe. And the Bills last week, they struggled in the first half of the Steelers, but in the second half, they had their way with them and they blew them out. So, what is your prediction for Bengals-Bills? This is another game where, like the Bengals and Bills, this could be playoff implications. Because the Bengals win this game, they have a pretty easy schedule. So, anything could happen. So, what's your prediction for this?
And this is the toughest game remaining on their schedule. They're going to Buffalo to play this game, and I think that they're going to win this game in Buffalo. I'm going with the Bills. Going Joe Burrow. Give me a 33-27 victory for Joe Cool.
What was the score you said?
33-27.
33-27. All right, I, funny enough, have the Bills winning this one 33-27. I think it just comes on whose team and what quarterback do I trust the most. And I trust the Bills I trust a fully healthy Josh Allen leading the Bills, and I do a 60%, 70% Joe Burrow leading the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow, he had a good game Thanksgiving night, but this is a new task. I mean, the Bills, they're fighting for a playoff spot right now. And I think the Bills are not going to want to give that up so easily. So I got Bills winning. It's going to be a high-scoring game, lots of points, lots of touchdowns. But I got Bills winning it at the end, 33-27. Next, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Rams a week ago was stunned by the Carolina Panthers. They stunned them. Well, the Cardinals were the Cardinals. There's a reason why the Cardinals are in the eliminated club already. What is your prediction for Rams Cardinals? And by the way, I don't know if y'all know or not, but Kyler Murray was ruled out for the season, so there is no chance of him coming back. So, not like it matters anyway. What's your prediction for this one?
No Kyler Murray. I say no win for the Cardinals. I think the Rams bounce back. I mean, they're fighting for that number one spot in the NFC, and I think they bounce back in a big way. Give me the Rams 35-21.
35-21. All right, I actually got the Rams winning a defensive one, 16-15. Why? Because I said so. Yeah. Anyways, Sunday Night Football. We got the Houston Texans going into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Who would have thought that the Texans would have a better record than the Chiefs going into this game? Look, this is a must-win game for both teams here. Texans and the Chiefs, they are, I think, the first two, if not that, they are at least the first two out of the first three teams in the hunt. I know the Texans are number 8. And this is a key week for the Texans. Because if the Bills lose to the Bengals and the Texans beat the Chiefs, the Texans claim that 7th seed, I think. So, because the Texans beat the Bills. So, what is your prediction for Texans-Chiefs?
Like you said, another one of those must-win games. And I think
if the Chiefs lose, they're done. Like, you can throw any hope out if the Chiefs lose. I'm just saying that right now.
That's why I was leaning Texans, but now I'm leaning back Chiefs just because it's a must-win and they're at home and they're Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think they wouldn't go out like this. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in the Chiefs for this one. And I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Give me a Chiefs victory, 21-18.
21-18 Chiefs. And I am going to agree with you. Like, the Chiefs, the Chiefs are, this is probably the first time in Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs history that we are in week 14 and they're not even in a playoff spot right now. However, I think the Chiefs will get a win. I think they're going to be playing extra hard. Like, they almost beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, but a couple things did not go their way. Give me the Chiefs to win this one. Close, 22-16 victory. It's also going to be in Arrowhead. And Arrowhead's a tough place to play, especially with C.J. Stroud just coming back. Now, Monday Night Football, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Eagles last week got boat raced from the run game. Like, I'm telling you, like, the Bears ran up and down the field with no questions to be asked or answered. By the Bears, at least. Like, they could do whatever they want. Like, they probably could have, like, their running backs could have walked. They could have ran. They could have skipped all the way down the field. Like, that's how easy it was. The Chargers, on the other hand, they blew out the Ravens. However, Justin Herbert might play, might not play. That, I think, determines this whole thing right here. What is your prediction for Eagles-Chargers?
I think this is a must-win game for the Eagles, and I'll tell you why. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm saying it's a must-win for them to get their mojo back. I mean, because, all the little infighting with A.J. Brown and the quarterback, and this was back when they were winning. Now they lost a couple games, so guess what's going on, in the locker room, So they need this win to right the ship. So I'm giving them this win, just like I'm giving the Chiefs the win, just because they're who they are, and they can't go out like this. So Eagles are going to win 27-24.
All right. I got the Eagles winning too. I think it's going to be defensive. I just don't trust the Chargers right now. I know they just won, but even if Herbert does play, he's obviously not going to be 100%. He didn't even practice yesterday. I don't know if he practiced today. So, like, if he's not practicing, that's not a good sign. And even if he does play, he doesn't have a full week of practice in him. So, I got the Eagles winning 16-15. Now, before we sign off, I want to get your opinion. Do you think Lane Kiffin is the villain of college football, or do you think Ole Miss is a bunch of sissies?
I think LSU is going to be the most hated team in college football next year, and I think that's all right. I think we need to embrace that. A lot of people looking at the situation, they're gonna root for us to lose bad because of the poor Ole Miss. I mean, he left them out to dry. Man, damn that. I mean, be a man. Put on your big boy pants. Let's go to work. LSU, most hated team in college football next year.
Yeah. Now, I made a whole video on this. My thing about the situation is I do feel for the Ole Miss fans because you feel like you had a championship run ripped from you. I do understand that. But you can't blame Lane Kiffin for leaving. Let me ask y'all a question, okay? Let's say, for example, if you're a teacher, okay, and another school is offering you a job where they're going to double your salary, but you got to leave in the middle of the school year. Are you going? Are you going? You know you are. Like the situation. And also, Ole Miss, their offensive coordinator decided to go to LSU, and yet they're letting the offensive coordinator coach the playoffs, but not Lane Kiffin.
Makes no sense.
Exactly. Like, do you see the hypocrisy here? Like, and you might be like, well, he's an assistant. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if he's an assistant or not. It shouldn't matter if he's the kicker. You are letting LSU's offensive coordinator coach you through the playoffs. You know why? Because you want to win. But the only reason Lane Kiffin is not coaching you during the playoffs is in spite of him. You got Ole Miss fans going through his jet, booing him, flipping him off. Like, I understand. This is why Ole Miss has been trash until Lane Kiffin got there. Because they got fans like that. Nobody's trying to go to Oxford. And you got Paul Feinbaum saying Kiffin's a disgrace. Well, Feinbaum left his old network to go to the SEC network. Is he a disgrace? Or did he take a better job opportunity?
This happens all the time. I mean, Tulane.
Nick Saban did the same thing.
Tulane's coach is going to Florida. And Tulane may be in the playoffs. We'll see. But you know what? They allowed him to coach. You know why? Because he's not taking any Tulane players to Florida because they're not good enough to play over there. That's all it's about. It's about, you can't recruit my players. You can't be around them to take them to LSU. That's why you can't coach.
Yeah, but like the thing is, and this is what I don't understand. There's been a lot of teams the past couple of years that have made the playoffs, and their players left in the transfer portal and opted out. Like, there was an LSU player that left during the season. How can that be okay? But Lane Kiffin leaving before playoff run isn't okay. A couple years ago, when there was only a 14 playoff, and the Ole Miss was ranked 7th, is that still okay? Is that okay for him to leave then? What, you just want Lane Kiffin to coach Ole Miss forever? Until he dies? Or until Ole Miss has a bad season?
He's been there for 6 years. It's not like he just got there.
Yeah, and like even if he did just get there, he left for a big opportunity. Like you got Cam Newton out here saying that Lane Kiffin got to go be the greatest coach of all time and not just go to LSU because Ed Orgeron has done this. Nick Saban won. Les Miles won. That's good for them. They ain't win 2 championships. So Lane Kiffin can come to LSU and still be the greatest coach at LSU. But I don't understand some people sometimes. It's like they all get this one opinion and they just stick to their guns. It's like, and look, I understand where the fans are coming from. Don't get me wrong. I understand where the fans are coming. And Ole Miss is right for not letting Kiffin coach the playoffs. Because if our coach would have left for Alabama, you wouldn't want that dude coaching your team. I understand their perspective. But how are you going to let Lane Kiffin walk out the door, but their offensive coordinator can come back? You know why? Because you want to win. You just don't want to win with Lane Kiffin. That's the whole thing. But before we sign off, let's get our college football playoff bracket in before the championship games happen. So, Dad, before we start this, who do you think will make the playoffs if you had to say 1 through 12?
I don't know. I'm not looking at the options right now. So
All right. Well, let's just say. Hold on. Let me pull it up. All right. Let's just All right. I got the bracket pulled up. So now I just gotta see. Give me 1 second again. All right. Well, all right. So can this thing pull up, or is this thing just gonna look at me funny?
just gonna look at you funny.
I guess. I think buffering. All right. So yeah, okay. Yeah, we're here. Tulane, I think, would be the 12th seed, and I think who. All right, I'm just gonna say BYU's number 11 because I think they're most likely to get the 11th spot, and I'm gonna give Tulane the 12th seed. So, all right, let's start that. Give me your prediction. Who do you think is gonna win? Number 9 Alabama or number 8 Oklahoma if they were to play right now?
Alabama.
All right, can you tell me why?
Just because I've seen Oklahoma play, I'm not impressed by that quarterback, Mateer or whatever his name is. I haven't been impressed with him all year long. I think they've been skating by the skin of their teeth in a lot of games, and they struggled a little bit with LSU, but still won the game. But give me Alabama.
Yeah, now these two teams did play earlier this season, and Oklahoma did beat them. So, Bama, they're probably making the playoffs. They're playing Georgia. Now, all of this is subject to change. However, yeah. I think I'm probably taking the high road with Alabama, though, because I just don't trust Oklahoma that much. I think they have a good defense. And I think they can get some stops on Bama, but it's hard to beat the same team twice in one season, including the playoffs. So, even Georgia a couple years ago, Bama and Georgia both played against each other in the SEC championship. Bama won that game, but Georgia beat them in the national title game. So it's tough to It's tough when you're it's tough to beat Bama twice. I'm just gonna say that. But I got Oklahoma winning this one. Next one, we got number 10 Notre Dame against number 7 Texas A&M. Who do you have in this one?
Tough one, but I'd say Texas A&M will win, just because I believe they've had a tougher schedule. They're more battle tested. Just being in the SEC, battle tests you more than a Notre Dame team that's an independent. That they play mostly, East Coast schools. So I'm always going to lean toward the SEC team in this situation. So give me Texas A&M to win this game.
I actually got Notre Dame winning because, like I said with Bama, Texas A&M, they beat Notre Dame earlier in the season by 1 point, 41-40, and probably one of the best games of the year. But Notre Dame, they're not going to want that to happen to them again. Texas A&M, their quarterback is playing hurt, so I think Notre Dame has all the advantages right now. So I actually got Notre Dame pulling this one out. All right, and we can just give Oregon and Ole Miss free wins because we don't know who they're playing, so we can just give both of them free wins. You see Ole Miss, you get a free win. Anyways, Alabama. What'd you say?
No coach, free win. Come on.
Yep. Next, we got Alabama versus Ohio State. Whew. Dad, who you riding with?
Give me Ohio State just because I think they're the best team in this bracket, and I think they're going all the way. Give me Ohio State.
Yeah, I got Ohio State in this one too. After Ohio State beat Texas in week 1 by 7, nobody has even came close to beating Ohio State. Like they're 12-0 for a reason. I think this is gonna be I think Ohio State wins by at least 10 points. Give me OSU. Now Texas. Now we got number 4 Texas Tech against number 5 Oregon. Right, I got that right. I think. Yeah. So who do you think's taking it? Number 4 Texas Tech or number 5 Oregon?
Give me Oregon, just because I haven't really seen Texas Tech play, but I do know what Oregon's about, and they're pretty tough. So give me the Ducks.
For me here, I got Texas Tech winning because Texas Tech has been dominant over the last couple of games. Over the last couple of months, to be honest with you, I don't think they've lost either. I don't know. If they have, it was only by it was like they haven't got blown out in any. I think they may have lost one game, but maybe 2. But I mean, their biggest win was against BYU, and they crushed them. So that's a conference game. It's a ranked team, a team that was.
Hold up. You said that was their biggest win, BYU.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. So I got Texas Tech pulling that out. Now for you, Texas Tech or Texas A&M versus Indiana. Who do you have?
Give me Indiana in this one. Just because, the quarterback's playing well, Heisman candidate. And like I said, I haven't seen much of Texas Tech, but, I am familiar with Indiana a little bit.
Texas A&M.
I thought you said Texas Tech. Well, in that case, still give me Indiana.
Yeah. For me, it's Notre Dame against Indiana, and I'm going Notre Dame here because I think Notre Dame, they're riding high right now. Indiana, they're, I think, undefeated, but I don't know. Indiana, they've been looking a little sluggish against some of these bad teams the last couple of games. So I got Notre Dame advancing to the Final Four. And next, we got Georgia, number 3 Georgia versus number 6 Ole Miss. Who do you have in this one?
Give me a good SEC battle, but give me the Dogs, just because I think they're better. They're well coached. They're better coached. But the Dogs are gonna blow out the Rebels.
Yeah, I don't even think this is going to be close. Like, Ole Miss, they don't got a coach. Like, some of their players might be LSU's players. Like, I don't even think they care anymore. Give me Georgia to win this one. All right, so for the Final Four, I have Ohio State versus Texas Tech. You have, I have Ohio State versus Texas Tech, and I have Notre Dame versus Georgia. You have Ohio State versus Oregon, and Indiana versus Georgia. So we have this. Well, no, because I have Notre Dame winning. Okay, so who do you have winning? Number 1, Ohio State, or number 4, Texas Tech?
I have, of course, Ohio State. I think they're the best team. I think, they're gonna just run through these playoffs. I think they're gonna win by 10 or more points against Texas Tech.
Yeah, I got Ohio State winning too. Ohio State, they're like, I don't know. Like, if Ohio State loses a game, it's going to be the national championship if they do lose, but like they're not losing to Texas Tech. So I have Ohio State punching their ticket to the national championship, just like you, for a back-to-back season. But who will they be playing? Do you think it's going to be Indiana, or do you think it's going to be Georgia?
Give me
number 2 versus number 2.
Give me the Dogs.
Dogs, okay.
I think it's a close game, but the Dogs will pull it out in the end.
Yeah, I actually got Indiana winning. I think Indiana's been a little bit more I think Georgia. I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right about them. Even they're winning against Georgia Tech. I don't know. I've been suspicious on Georgia. I think Indiana's going to give Georgia a good game. I think Indiana's going to beat them. So I got a Big Ten national championship, while you got Ohio State versus Georgia. So who do you think is going to be national championships? Do you got number 1 Ohio State or number 3 Georgia?
I think Ohio State's going to win in a close game. I think it's going to be somewhere. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think like 38-35 type of game.
All right, I got Ohio State taking down Indiana in the national championship, and I have Ohio State winning their championship for back-to-back seasons. So we both think the Buckeyes will reign supreme at the end of the season, though. Anyways, now the last thing, I know I said that last time, but the last thing that before we sign off, we're gonna give you all the updated playoff the updated playoff for the NFL. Playoff picture to see who's in and who's out, and who has a chance to make it, and whose season has already ended. Saints. Okay, let's see. Do you want to start on the AFC or the NFC?
NFC.
All right, NFC. All right, NFC side of things. Okay, let's see. All right, so currently the number 1 seed in the NFC's conference is, once the thing pulls up, any day now. Any day now.
It's telling you something. It doesn't want to work.
Okay, finally. Number 1 seed currently is the Chicago Bears in the NFC with a 9-3 record. They play the Packers this week. They currently have a 74% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 90% chance. If they lose, those odds drop to 67. A little bit of a difference there. The 2 seed is the Los Angeles Rams at 9-3. They play the Cardinals this week. They currently have a 96% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 98% chance. If they lose, they'll have an 89% chance. The Eagles are the number 3 seed with an 8-4 record. They play the Chargers this week. They currently have a 96% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 99%. If they lose, they'll have a 92%. The 4 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 7-5. They play the Saints this week, where they currently have an 83% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have an 86% chance. A loss brings them down to 72% chance. The Seattle Seahawks are the 5th seed at 9-3. They play the Falcons this week. They currently have a 91% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 96% chance. A loss, they'll have an 81% chance. The 6th seed is the Green Bay Packers at 8-3-1. They play the Bears this week. They currently have an 88% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 94% chance. If they lose, they'll have a 75% chance. The San Francisco 49ers are the 7th seed at 9-4. They're on bye week this week, and they currently have a 91% chance to make the playoffs. The teams that are on the outside looking in are at number 8, you got the Detroit Lions, 8-5. They just beat the Cowboys, which means they have a 54% chance to make the playoffs. Number 9 is the Carolina Panthers at 7-6. They are on bye this week. They currently have a 20% chance to make the playoffs. Dallas Cowboys are the 10th seed at 6-1. They lost to the Lions, meaning they have an 8% chance to make the playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons are next at 4-8. They play the Seahawks this week. They currently have less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs, which will be the same if they win or lose. Minnesota Vikings are next at 4-8. They play the Commanders this week. They'll have a less than 1% chance either way, as they do now. The Washington Commanders are next at 3-9. They play the Vikings this week. They'll have a less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs if they win or lose. Next, and now the teams that are already eliminated that have no chance to make the playoffs are the Arizona Cardinals at 3-9, the New Orleans Saints at 2-10, and the New York Giants at 2-11. They all three have 0. Now the teams in the AFC. The 1 seed is the New England Patriots at 11-2. They are on bye this week. They currently have more than a 99% chance to make the playoffs, so they're probably a certain. The 2 seed is the Denver Broncos at 10-2. They play the Raiders this week. They currently have a 99% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have more than a 99% chance. If they lose, they'll have a 95% chance. Jacksonville Jaguars are the 3 seed at 8-4. They played the Colts this week. They currently have an 84% chance. If they win, they'll have a 97% chance. If they lose, they'll have a 75% chance. Baltimore Ravens are the 4 seed at 6-6. They play the Steelers this week. They currently have a 63% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 79% chance. And if they lose, they'll have a 32% chance. Los Angeles Chargers are the 5 seed at 8-4. They play the Eagles this week. They currently have a 63% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 76% chance. If they lose, they'll have a 52% chance. Indianapolis Colts are the number 6 seed at 8-4. They play the Jaguars this week. They currently have a 72% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have an 86% chance. And if they lose, they'll have a 55% chance. And the 7th seed right now is the Buffalo Bills at 8-4. And they play the Bengals this week. They currently have an 88% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 95% chance. And if they lose, they'll have a 74% chance. Now, the teams are on the outside looking in, trying to make the playoffs. We got the Houston Texans at 7-5. They play the Chiefs this week. They currently have a 59% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have an 82% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, they'll have a 45% chance. Pittsburgh Steelers are number 9 at 6-6. They play the Ravens this week. They currently have a 35% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 66% chance to make the playoffs. And if they lose, they'll have an 18% chance to make the playoffs. Number 10, you got the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-6. They play the Texans this week. They currently have a 34% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 50% chance. And if they lose, they'll have an 11% chance. The 11th seed is the Miami Dolphins at 5-7, who play the Jets this week. They'll have a less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs either way. Cincinnati Bengals are at number 12 with a 4-8 record. They play the Bills this week. They currently have a 3% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they'll have a 7% chance, and if they lose, they'll have a 2% chance. New York Jets are number 13 at 3-9. They play the Dolphins this week. They'll have less than a 1% chance either way. And the Cleveland Browns are number 14 at 3-9. They'll have a less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs either way. And there are 2 teams from the AFC that are fully eliminated. The Las Vegas Raiders at 2-10 and the Tennessee Titans at 1-11. So, do you think anything's going to shake up in the playoffs until the season ends?
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be some shakeups. But the things that stick out to me on the NFC side is the Detroit Lions at the 8th seed. It's tough to think with all that talent that they're outside looking in. So, I'll be looking for that if they can put together a couple wins to get on in there. And on the AFC side, you see a lot of big gaps in those percentages. If you win, you have an 87% chance, but if you lose, you go down to 50% chance. So, like we was talking about, how must wins these are this weekend.
Yeah. And okay, so I just put all the picks in. So that according to your things, you think the Bears are gonna after this week, if all of your predictions are correct, you got the Bears falling from the 1 seed all the way to the 7 seed.
They can tumble. Yep.
That's crazy. Like if everything that you said is correct, the Bears will be the 7 seed after falling from the 1 seed. You have the Rams reclaiming the 1 seed. You have the Packers jumping up from the 6 seed all the way to the 2 seed. You got the Eagles staying at 3, Buccaneers staying at 4, Seahawks staying at 5, 49ers bump up from 7 to 6. So you have a lot of changes in the NFC. You got the Rams going up to number 1, Packers going up to number 2, 49ers going up to 6, and the Bears fall into 7. And on the AFC side of things, you think the Broncos are going to claim the 1 seed at 11-2. Patriots fall from 1 to 2 since they're not playing. Jaguars stay at 3, Ravens stay at 4, Chargers stay at 5. Colts stay at 6, Bills stay at 7. So you don't really have much change in the AFC. You just have the Broncos winning while the Patriots don't play, so they just take the 1 seed. So, yeah. So the NFC, I think, is probably more hectic than the AFC is right now. We'll see where things will go with that. But, yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Dad, where can they find you?
Find me on Mic'd Up YouTube page and on Hurricane Mike Show every week.
Yeah, you can always find me at Hurricane Mike, Kyle Phelps, and Keeping It Real, Who That Sports Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on until you don't miss another upload. And Dad, we're leaving them as always with a Who Dat, and don't be a what?
Don't be a Falcons fan.
Into that.
1% chance to make the playoffs. Not good.
Less than that, actually.
Less than 1%.